with a professional sports franchise, the franchise can have an outsized impact on the community in a positive way, and that's as important as anything we do, trying to be a good corporate citizen in San Diego and every year trying to be better at it. It's human suffering in a way that I don't believe needs to occur. With rare exceptions, homeless people have problems, whether it's mental health or physical health, or simply, especially during the pandemic, they simply ran out of money, and you see more children out there. It's critical to all of us, and I spend a lot of my personal time, and we have one objective, and that's to reduce the suffering, help the most vulnerable. And I've got some optimism as we further step into 2023 that things are going to get better. Our overarching goal is one thing, and that's to win a world championship and bring a parade and the title to San Diego.
You're a Zen guy. As someone who's not really, I don't have a shred of Zen in me, how does one achieve that kind of inner peace?
Oh, I feel very fortunate. I've had 2 big battles with cancer, and I've seen a lot of people suffer in that area as well, and I'm very fortunate to be here and enjoy it, and to be around all the thrills of baseball and hang out with guys like you and fans like we're talking to today. But just to state what people say, but really try to take it to heart, to make the most out of every day and enjoy it, have some fun, laugh, and hopefully make a positive difference. Owning a franchise, there's nothing like it. You know, the thrills are nightly, or the disappointments, and you feel that every night, and the great thing about baseball is if you lost last night, we're back at it again today, and we're going to win today.
And on a personal level, I do thank every single one of you, whether you're a young child or somebody that's been following baseball for 80 years, whether you consume it on an iPhone or leave all the electronics like I do in the car and just relax and watch a baseball game. Thank you so much.
Good morning, everybody. Ben and Woods here, 97.3 The Fan. A profoundly sad day yesterday. It's good to be back with you guys. I missed you very much. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl, our executive producer. Good morning, Paulie.
Good morning. Morning.
And Benjamin Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, is here as well. Paulie, great intro, by the way. Just gutted me so early this morning. Beautiful piano provided by our pal Bobby Cressy, organist for the Padres, and his other project, Dumosa. So that was really moving and sweet and brings back a lot of fond memories that we have of the late, great Peter Seidler, who passed away yesterday at 63 years old. Some devastating news to wake up to yesterday, and I just wanted to pay our respects today to the man that Peter was, the owner that Peter was, the father, the husband, all of that. Just a very, very sad day yesterday.
It's good to have you back.
Good to be back.
Good morning, and it was a sad day. There are very few people in life. Everybody has their ups and downs and their mixed legacies, but there are very few people who were as universally beloved as Peter Seidler. I've never met anybody who did not like Peter Seidler, who did not respect Peter Seidler, and this is a loss, obviously, for the Padres fans, San Diego, but it's a loss for all of baseball as well, and it's a loss for humanity that, Peter Seidler is no longer with us. And I can only hope that we all take a little bit of what we learn from Peter Seidler and, keep it with us and try to keep his spirit alive going forward, because he carried a lot of that, for us, that, we've got our lives and our interests, and, we stay in our lanes, and we're just so worried about, what we're doing next and taking care of us and our family. And Peter cared about so much more than just his and his own. He cared about everybody all the time so much. And I think it's the most important lesson that we can all take from Peter Seidler.
Yeah, no doubt. I have the fondest memories of getting to interview Peter multiple times. And honestly, my favorite one was the day that I knew that we were going to have him on the next day. And I went home. We were at spring training, and I shaved my entire face, and I dyed my mustache, and I just left my stash, and so that I could get the picture with Papa Pete, who had grown the mustache, and ask him about the mustache, and do a picture with him. It was about 30 degrees outside that day.
So cold.
It was so bone-chillingly cold that the guys from inside had to bring us out heavy bullpen jackets and skull caps, which we didn't have.
You pansies, here we go.
They're like, here you go, dude. And we put
Quit complaining.
We put those on, and Peter sat out there and braved it with us and answered every question. And, I had asked him early on in the interview about what it's like, to be the owner of a team and to watch your team drop 3 or 4 games in a row or something. And, he always brought it back to what was really important, and it was the people around Petco Park that were unhoused and didn't have anything. He always brought it back to that. His perspective on life was so incredible, and he would tell you, look, you lose a couple baseball games, imagine not having a place to live. Imagine not having a place to sleep. He talked about the homeless like what they were and what they are, and that's human beings. He is maybe the best example of a true humanist that I have ever met in my life, ever. I fancy myself one, but he acted on it, and he got behind it, and he put his money where his mouth was, and he talked to them. He spoke to them. He respected them. That has stuck with me since that day.
He put his money where his mouth was. He obviously he had a lot of money. He put his time though, and that's something he didn't have a lot of.
It's
Peter,
one thing to stroke a check,
like any baseball owner, business executive. Peter was pulled in obviously a lot of directions, but he always made the time. Bryce Miller at the UT did some of the best work in going on the midnight walks that Peter Seidler would go on, in the community, talking to the unhoused, and going to a 7-Eleven and like buying hot dogs for everyone who was sitting outside because they were hungry, and handing them out, and just doing that himself. Not, he could have paid a foundation to do that. He could have paid an army of people to go out and do that, but he didn't feel like that was the right way to go. He felt like he needed to do it himself and be out there and helping people on a one-on-one individual basis. Of course, he did so much more, and he did great works, but the fact that he gave his time to that, when it could have been very easy to say, oh, yeah, I gave $10 million to this cause. I've got other things I got to attend to. No, he put his own effort and his own heart into that passion project as well.
I was reading Dennis Lynn in The Athletic had a couple of stories yesterday, and the one he wrote later in the day was titled, "With Padres, Peter Seidler set himself apart in many ways as the ideal owner." And it says here, addressing homelessness in San Diego became Seidler's personal mission. Some of those attempts were known to the public, such as his founding of the Tuesday Group and his involvement with the Lucky Duck Foundation. Some of his efforts were more private. Seidler, for instance, got into the habit of taking lengthy late-night walks not far from the San Diego coast. Along the way, he frequently stopped to converse with the homeless, to listen and seek a greater understanding of one of the community's foremost crises.
He was a great man, and you could feel it when you sat and talked with him. You could see it in his face. He had a kind face and kind eyes, and a caring man. Just a very caring man that wanted to help. And those people are so few and far between these days. And Ben, you said it best, man. We do always worry about ourselves, our jobs, our money, our career, our families, our homes, and it's rare that we look outside of that. And Peter was a guy that constantly looked outside of his bubble. And got out of his comfort zone, probably. And maybe that was his comfort zone.
To describe him, I think kind is the one that always kept coming back to me.
Just a kind man.
He was the kindest human I ever met.
My very first interaction with him is when he took over. And I had run into him, I can't remember exactly where I was, but he gave me this sly look. We were down on the field, I think, and he gave me. Do you guys remember this? You were with me.
I remember this.
He gives me this sly look, and I shook his hand and said, "Nice to meet you," and looking forward to talking to you. And he gave me this sly look. He goes, "Oh, I've heard about you. We've got some things we need to talk about." And I was like, I melted. I was like, I'm dead. I'm dead. What did I do now? And he, you know what? He never treated me or anyone that I saw him around. He never treated anybody with anything other than kindness. He ran into us down on the field one time and hurried us over. He wanted us to meet Ralph Sampson, who was his roommate in college at Virginia.
The Ralph Sampson.
The Ralph Sampson, the 9-foot-tall Ralph Sampson that he had brought as a guest to a game.
It was the playoffs last year.
Yeah, he was an amazing man. And obviously, our thoughts and prayers go out to his wife, Sheil. Their 3 children. That's what gutted me the most, obviously.
Young kids, because he only got married like 13 years ago.
Yep, he's got young kids. And it just gutted me to think about them losing their dad. And the thing, though, they will feel a little bit better knowing what a phenomenal, phenomenal man their father was.
But I want to point out that all of this is true. And when you look at a person like that, someone who is that empathetic and that caring about others, you'd also think, well, but as an owner, then, just go out and try hard, and I hope everybody has fun. He wanted to win.
He did.
He wanted to win badly. He hated the Dodgers.
Yeah.
He wanted to beat them so badly, and he was willing to put up whatever it took to try to win a World Series and bring it to San Diego. That was very important to him. You can say it's just a game. It's just baseball. It's not how he thought.
No.
He wanted to win as bad as anyone who has ever been in San Diego wanted to win. And I think a lot of fans came up to me yesterday, and I was at the Petco Park Memorial. And the one thing everyone said, I wish they could have won it and he could have seen it at some point. And, obviously it'll be great if they do at some point soon. We'll win that World Series, and it'll be for Peter, but we'll still have that tinge of sadness that it didn't get done when he was around to be in that parade that he wanted to bring to San Diego so badly.
No, it's the biggest bummer. And I thought about yesterday, people in life that deserved to reach the highest pinnacle of their sport. Tony Gwynn was another one here, obviously. Like the fact that Tony Gwynn passed away without a ring, it feels wrong, and the fact that Peter Seidler won't get to be here in person to witness a parade, to get a ring, it hurts, it hurts a lot. And I know, that it's so hard. I've been here 14 years in February, and this place is my soul. It's my blood. I love it so much. He took this city, Ben, and made it his own, and wanted to not only just bring a great baseball team here, but he wanted to help all of the citizens, everybody that he could. He always had a kind word for everyone. Had no problem stopping to take pictures with fans, sign autographs, whatever you needed. On the road in Arizona, they're chanting his name. And he's an icon. He's a legend. And he will be so, so missed. And I know that the people down at Petco Park are gutted today. You lose somebody like that, it just guts you. All the people that we know, Eric Grupner, AJ Preller, Craig Huner, all the people that we know and work with all the time, I'm sure they are just gutted today. And I'm
Tom Seidler.
Tom, our beloved Tom Seidler.
Very close with Tom over the years.
Paulie and I get to hang with his brother Tom at fantasy camp every year. You're not going to find, Tom is just the best. He's the best. I wrote him an email yesterday expressing my condolences because I love him. I love that whole family. Everyone that I've met, they're just, for all of the dysfunction sometimes, right, of covering the Padres, Peter was the guy that kind of held it all together, and a guy that makes you want to go and work hard for, because you know he's working hard. So very, very sad day for us, for the city of San Diego, all the people down at Petco Park, and his family. We're just so sorry.
I wanted to share my personal, most defining memory of Peter Seidler. I didn't share it at the time because my son wasn't ready to kind of have it be known, but Peter Seidler, of course, not only fought non-Hodgkin's lymphoma cancer, but he was also a type 1 diabetic. And my son was diagnosed a few years ago when he was in high school. And Peter heard about that. And I didn't, this was before Peter had really taken over completely as chairman, and I didn't really know Peter that well. I think we'd maybe spoken once before, but he heard about it and invited me to come visit with him at Petco Park.
That's wild.
And sat down with him for, an hour at least, and, talk about the challenges of type 1, and am I doing okay, and is there anything that, you said, is there anything I can do for you and your family? Just let me know. I just want to be here to help. And he didn't know me from anyone other than, guy who on TV and hosts the morning radio show on 97.3 The Fan, but he felt like it was important to reach out and just be as helpful as he could be. And that was the essence of Peter Seidler. Is he wanted to be as helpful as he could be to as many people as he could possibly be helpful to. At all hours of the day, at all times, Peter was looking for ways to help and be better. And just a fantastic human being. I know you're supposed to have a little journalistic objectivity when it comes to people you cover.
It's tough to do that with him.
Pretty much after that day, it went out the window. It's like, I love Peter Seidler.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel that bad about it because so did everyone else.
Yeah, right.
It's not like I had a bunch of people, well, you really need to cover the seedy side of Peter Seidler and dig into that dirt. It wasn't there. I mean, it just wasn't there. And he really was the man that we all saw and just got to love here in San Diego. And it's such a devastating loss that he is gone. Other people pass away and it's sad. And it's like, that's sad. This is truly a devastating loss. Major, do you remember your first meeting with Peter Seidler, like your first impressions of the man?
Yeah, so let me tell you a brief story how this happened, because it's not ordinary for me to know Peter Seidler. Why would it be? I'm just a Padre fan. Many years ago, Dean Spanos, who owned the Chargers in San Diego, reached out to me through one of his top people, Mark Fabiani, who I knew in Washington, D.C. way back in the Clinton years. I got to know Dean. Dean and I had lots of great discussions, and we clashed over whether the Chargers should stay in San Diego. He had a different idea. I had one about San Diego. But Dean introduced me to Ron Fowler. And through Ron Fowler, I got to know Peter. That's how it all happened. I should not know the owners of San Diego sports franchises as a matter of course. I just shouldn't.
Same here.
But because of Dean and others, they brought me into their world. So I was allowed to come to the owner's box, and I never met Peter. I didn't know what he looked like. And Peter presents in a very different way than you would expect a major sports franchise owner to present. Okay? He just doesn't look like...
You're right.
I'm like, who's this guy? He's in the owner's box.
He has burlap pants on. What's going on right now?
That is a 4XL sweater that he's got wearing.
Oh my God. I didn't say those words out loud, but I thought to myself, it's the only thought. It's the only thing that's making me laugh today. I swear. Who is this guy? There are things in life that are not subject to numbers, that can't be enumerated. They're the human side, the compassionate side, the immeasurable part of humanity. And what Peter was off the charts in the immeasurable human side of life. He knew how to measure all the things you needed to measure to succeed. But he had a great capacity to share and be that immeasurably great human being. And that's what I will miss the most. Lucky Duck Foundation is something that everyone in this audience knows about.
Yep.
I know another thing that Peter supported, and through him I came to be a big supporter, the Monarch School. I don't know if you're familiar with it. I know some Padre players go through there. I've had a chance to meet their leadership. I've toured the facility twice. I'm a huge supporter of Monarch School. It is an amazing, path-breaking, innovative place that addresses the needs of children of unhoused people and educates them at an incredibly high level, consistently, year in and year out. Basically, all the foundations and all the things that Ron Fowler and Peter Seidler care about, I care about. And I learn about them through them. I can't do as much as they can, but I do all that I can do. And Peter was, I think all of us hope when an assessment is made of our life, people will say they were the real deal for whatever they were real about. And Peter was the real deal in so many places and in so many ways.
There's a lot of people who came down last night to pay their respects. It's Ben and Woods. Welcome back. We're celebrating the life of Peter Seidler this morning and inviting your calls and stories, 833-288-0973. We're going to go to the phones here. It really was a very nice memorial. If you haven't gone down there, they set it up on the steps there right at the home plate gate. And it's right in front of the wall of water, the waterfall, which is very peaceful. If you're watching our YouTube stream, you see Yu Darvish just absolutely
gutting, dude.
Heartbreaking moment as he goes and lays flowers and then bows, he and his wife bowing their head in front of the wreaths and the picture of Peter Seidler. But it wasn't really, it was organized in that they set it up nicely, but it really was the fans themselves who would come up and you'd take your turns, you'd go up and they'd, if you wanted to spend a minute or two up there just quietly, and then someone else would kind of take their place. No one crowded it. There was enough room up there to kind of have your moment and reflect and think about Peter or whatever you wanted to do. It's just well set up. And if you were thinking of going down there today, I know they're making parking is free in the tailgate lot. There's a bunch of construction, so you actually kind of have to walk all the way around by the MTS garage to come around, but you'll get there. And you don't have to bring flowers. You can just come by. Let's go to Eric at the top of the board. Eric, easy. How you doing, man?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good,
Thank you for taking my call. I really appreciate that. I also wanted to share the same feeling as Woodsy mentioned earlier. Yesterday I was so PO'd at the idea that we couldn't do one for Seidler this year. But then I woke up this morning listening to you guys and so positive, and that's the type of guy he was. And quite honestly, Peter Seidler died like a hero, man. A hero for San Diego. He gave me back my pride as a San Diegan. And that's something that will always carry with me because I'm 31 years old, man. I'm a soccer player. I'm not a baseball fanatic like you guys are. But I try. And quite honestly, it takes time, effort, and the most important, money. It takes money to galvanize this community, and he did it. And now it's our turn to give back, and I obligate myself to do it. So thanks to him, he's a great influence, and he changed my life forever today as well.
That's awesome, man.
Bo made a absolute heartbreaking card for Peter Seidler.
Make me weep. But when I picked him up from school yesterday, I'd been gone a couple days and was very excited to see me, and I told him the news, and he said, well, how old was he? And I said, he's 63. And he said, well, you're 48. And I said, yep. And he said, how much older? And I said, 15 years. And he said, huh. And he just kind of sat in the back while he said, did he have kids? And I go, yeah, he did. He had three small kids. And he just kind of sat quietly. And we got home, and he said, can I make a card? And I said, sure, please. That'd be amazing. And he sat down, and I got Taylor, and I was getting Taylor to do something. And I walked out of the room, and I came back, and he was sitting at our little desk. And he didn't want to show me. No, Dad, stay over there. But Hannah told me that he said, Mama, how do I spell Peter Seidler? So inside the card, he wrote, Bo, Peter Seidler, and drew all these hearts and flowers. And I mean, and then he cut little yellow diamonds and pasted them in there. It's beautiful. And he drew a big red heart on the front, and my heart was just swollen with pride, and I'm gonna take that down there for him today. But man, that kid loves the San Diego Padres so stinking much. so much. It's such a part of the fabric of our family and our lives. And yeah, man, what a huge
Jed,
loss.
welcome to 97.3 The Fan.
Good morning, boys. How are we doing?
Good, man.
Morning.
How are you?
Doing all right. It's been an emotional morning listening to you boys, but I just wanted to kind of take the time to say that there's so many lessons to be learned in this situation. I know, Woodsy, you kind of just had a scare with your mother. I just lost my dad about 6 months ago, and there's just time is the most precious thing, and at the end of it all, we want people talking about us the way that we're all talking about Peter Seidler. That's really all that matters, and that's all we can strive for is to, like you said, implement the type of life that Peter Seidler lives. And so if I could go back and answer your topic wheel from a few days ago of someone that's changed my life but doesn't know they changed my life, I'd have to say Peter Seidler, because from this day forward, I will always try to make an impact every single day.
You got Woods. You got him, Jed. You got him. Paul, you actually met him years before us at your old radio station.
I went outside to go let him into the building, and here was this guy wearing a dress shirt, a business dress shirt that was probably 4XL. Like, I mean, just so hanging down to his knees. He had a tie that was untied hanging around his neck, and he was wearing pajama bottoms and loafers.
Amazing.
And he's just sitting on the other side of the glass doors like this.
You're like,
just
is
waiting.
this him?
And I go, okay, where's Peter? I go, what is happening?
You're one of the owners of the San Diego Padres.
So I bring him into the studio, and we're talking to him, and I don't remember if it was on the air or off the air, but we asked him, we go, Peter, what's going on here? What are we doing?
Yeah, what are we wearing here,
getup?
bud?
And he tells us, well, it was, I haven't gone home yet, but it was bring your dad to school day for my little girl, and I let her dress me today, and that's what she chose, so that's what I wore today.
That's a very Woods thing right there, too.
I just threw my hands up and I go,
That's it.
I love this guy.
Just incredible.
Good morning, Ryan.
Morning, guys.
Hey, buddy.
I don't have anything specific to add on like what everyone else has been saying, but I think a lot of times we overuse the word hero.
Yeah.
I say it all the time about, baseball players and guys who hit the ball really far or throw the ball really hard. But I can't think of a better person than Peter Seidler when I use the word hero. Both as the owner and all the stuff that he did for people in San Diego, unhoused community, all of that. But I just want to say thank you to Peter Seidler, to his family and the ownership group for bringing in this new wave of excitement and joy to San Diego with the Padres. And one of the great joys of my life over the last few years has been my parents becoming huge Padres fans because they were fun. My little brother, my childhood friends. I'm getting texts from people I grew up with every day about the Padres. We lived together in San Diego for 18 years while I was growing up, and they didn't watch the Padres. But when we all go our separate ways after high school, and the Padres become a fun, thrilling product, thanks to Peter Seidler, it brings the entire city together. And the memories from 2022, but the memories of trading for Yu Darvish in the middle of the 21 off season, bringing on that money, and the Tatis extension, and bringing in Manny, and all the things that have led up to where they are now. That's, it's like the joys and the journey. That's the fun part, and that's really thanks to Peter Seidler. And it's a horrible, horrible loss for Padres fans and for all of San Diego. It's terrible.
I love
Thankful that I had you guys to share this 4 hours with. I'm proud of this show.
Me too.
That we get today. I'm proud of our tier ones, and I'm proud of our radio station. And
calls were amazing.
And the callers were absolutely fantastic. So
love you guys.
Healing is just getting started. Peter, we will miss you. Thank you for being you. Almost made it.
So close.
I
you
love
finished
that
the
man.
show.
I really did. The kindest soul I've ever known.
No doubt. We'll be back tomorrow. Love you guys.